Thank you very much, and it's good to see you all here today. And my real congratulations for organising this event. Bearing in mind the need for questions, my political background, I'll try to remember something that this poet Shelley once said about politicians, saying you've lost the ability to think, but unfortunately not the power of speech. Sorry, Gavin, it's a joke I used to use. I must stop. It's not directed in any direction. But it's great to follow the Lord Lieutenant, who's a real champion across the county. And I think with Noah pulling together a really, really important set of questions and challenges. And I'm not speaking as an expert or a practitioner today, and there are many more who are qualified to do that. But I do start, born of both my time as a Vice-Chancellor, but also as a previous Member of Parliament and Government Minister. I have a very powerful conviction that in the fifth largest economy in the world, we have far too much poverty and deprivation, and there is a societal collective responsibility to challenge that. And I want to talk about the way that the university, this university, contributes to tackling to set the scene and reflect my university's commitment to academic and civic engagement here on our doorstep, which I think contributes with other partners to tackling deprivation. But firstly, to reiterate that congratulations to both Helen and Jim for their energy and their initiative in delivering this Let's Get Together conference. I'm delighted that we're able to host it here at the Putteridgebury campus. Now, in that regard, not many people know that this Putteridgebury surroundings was modelled on Chequers, the Prime Minister's country residence. I like to think we're getting on with at least as important work here today. And certainly this university is in the business of transforming lives. That, I think, is a radical mission in itself. But as I always stress at both inductions for new students and also at our graduation ceremonies when students leave us, we exist to transform lives for a purpose. It's about the transformation of student lives so that they have the tools to go on to work to transform their communities and their countries. And we encourage through that real civic engagement. And last year, our students achieved 40,000 hours of volunteering in the local community. I think that's a fantastic achievement. And I think I should say, we shouldn't let anyone tell us that this is an apathetic generation that doesn't engage with society's challenges and concerns. I see that every day, every week, every month at the university. And that commitment is in part shaped by the university identity and mission that is forged through our teaching and research. Essential work that seeks to analyse and address some of the more difficult issues that we face as a community and as a society and as a country. And I want to come back to some of those later on. But just one other reference to Putteridgebury before I move on. Those of you who've been to our main campus in Luton will know that we're a modern university with world-class and ever-expanding state-of-the-art facilities. But we're also very proud of our widening participation routes that date back over a century and across the county. Now, this campus is an important part of that history and that commitment. So during the Second World War, these grounds were used as a prisoner of war camp, each bit of the town and county doing their bit. And at the end of the war, the prisoners went their own way and headed back home, apart from one. He decided to stay in Luton, eventually studying here at the then Luton College of Higher Education, before gaining his qualifications and going on to become a lecturer. As I said, transforming lives so students can transform their communities and their country. In saying that, I hope it gives a flavour of my and our belief in the individual and societal benefits of higher education and this university in particular. And I have a very, very strong belief that universities should not be academic islands cut off from the realities, the experience, and indeed the challenges of the environment within which they're rooted. So, at the university, a University of Bedfordshire student, wherever they come from, and they come from far and wide and right way across the globe, is, and this is what we try to achieve, empowered to shape the world around them because they understand the world around them. And let me give you some examples of that, where our students work at various levels with Jim and the team at Noah Enterprise in particular. So students pursuing marketing and social studies degrees have got involved to gain practical experience. A group of Bedfordshire students won a national student entrepreneurs competition for their work in supporting training of staff at Noah. And the university provides practical, professional, technical support when it's needed. I know that Jim agrees that the quality of the students directly benefits the good work of NOAA, and the students gain from putting their skills to use in delivering social justice here in their host community. And I would hope that you'd all agree that all of us here today seek to deliver and defend social justice. That's certainly the reason I got involved in politics in an early age. It continued to be my motivation throughout my time in Parliament, in government, and now very practically in widening access to higher education. Because I really believe you can't deliver social justice or tackle deprivation by acting on your own and acting alone. It is by working together as citizens, as partners, that is the only real route to social justice. We also can't ignore the challenges we occasionally face, both here locally but across the UK, in terms of community cohesion, respect and tolerance. However, I have to say I do sometimes worry that we become too concerned with the very idea of living together rather than seeking and ensuring a positive experience for everyone within our community. If you go back, it was Aristotle who had a view of the polity that said that the state or common citizenship should not only exist for the sake of living together under common interest, but that we should live well together. I think that's a really important sentiment. His proposition was that coming together as citizens should provide us with the tools to develop, prosper and be enlightened as individuals, families and society. And through that objective, we should not only seek the bonds of citizenship for its own sake, but it should provide us with development, enlightenment and prosperity. And I think that still rings true today. I think we should bear that in mind. It's not just about the feel-good of being able to come together to talk or act, the act of succeeding in attracting students from non-traditional backgrounds to make it to university. It's about a real coming together and delivering on those challenges, or ensuring that students become graduates and then contribute and go back and contribute as entrepreneurial and employable citizens. And for me, an emphasis on partnership and results has to take priority over the old ways of thinking that delivering social justice is the preserve of one arm of the state or monolithic agencies. When I've previously talked about this issue, examining the future of transformative higher education and the challenges for those of us who believe in the expansion of educational opportunity, I found myself looking back for inspiration from age-old progressive political debates. When we look at the challenges and context for social justice and inequality, it's still about the ends and the means, as was most powerfully articulated almost 60 years ago by Tony Crossland in his book, The Future of Socialism. You don't have to be a socialist to recognise the importance of that work. He focused much of his thinking on the question of ownership of public goods, whether the conventional wisdom on public ownership and the struggle to achieve it was the best means to achieve the agreed ends of equality of opportunity, social mobility, and a more equal society, and much more. And in that regard, it seems incredible that next Easter it will be 20 years since the Labour Party formally revised Clause 4. Doesn't my time move quickly? I digress, but for a purpose. It's fundamentally about believing in a shared mission, intention and outcome of social justice and equality, not the mere act of caring and sharing, I think is enough. Our new means as a civil society coming together is represented very much here today, and we see groups and people from all organisations and all walks of life. Constructive working between community actors, large and small, public, private and third sector, statutory and voluntary. And I hope today, and that's why I think this conference is so important, we listen and learn from each other and from the experiences and the testimonies that we bring. Let's recognise and acknowledge that we have different strengths and perspectives, but it should be about complementing, not contradicting each other. It's the goal and the achievement that should define us, not the belief in the project. We mustn't find comfort in debates and policies that bear little relation to advancing real change for the most disadvantaged in society. Now, going back again, Crossland talked about the manifest wrongs, the order of battle, and clear-cut and obviously righteous aims. Social equality, justice and mobility, I think, are easy to share as ambitions. But as Crossland identified all those years ago, progress in society affects the certainty and simplicity of the cause as the world becomes complicated and ambiguous. That's why, as a university, we're delighted to host today and to start conversations about the role that the university can play as an academic and civic leader in that aspect. As I said at the beginning of my remarks, the university is nothing if it is not a catalyst for transforming lives, for transforming communities. We do that, for example, through the hard yards of opening up higher education to everyone who can benefit from it, but also through our research, which can sometimes mean holding up a mirror to some uncomfortable truths within community, within society, so that we can then offer the tools needed to change lives. And I'll give you an example. Earlier this year we won the Queen's Anniversary Prize for our pioneering research into child sexual exploitation. This is the highest form of national recognition open to higher and further education institutions in the UK. And in making the announcement of the prize, the Royal Anniversary Trust described the university's work in this area as, and I quote, as being exceptional and distinctive, and has brought about a greatly improved practice in the protection of children and young people, and a fundamental change in approaches to child sexual exploitation. We're very, very proud of that recognition, and I'm sure you've all seen in the news recently, it's still an issue which touches each and every part of society. Let's take another example. We're also the academic leaders of the new Frontline initiative, a Teach First for social work, if you like. It's a graduate programme which will deliver the next generation of leading social workers. And as our own Professor Donald Forrester, the programme lead, has said, social work is not just about helping individuals, it's about better social justice and creating positive change in a broader society. If I learned anything from my time in politics and government, it is that we need to do more to habilitate and inspire people to work in the area of social work. When I see some of the stories, some of the critiques that are run about social workers in the community and the country, you beg the question of why people would get involved, and we need it to be an uplifting profession, give it greater status, and I think the Frontline initiative can help us to do that. One of the students who's gone through the first programme, an Oxford graduate, says the teaching and support provided by Bedfordshire through Frontline is the best that she's ever received, and I think that's a mark of what we are trying to deliver. Our support for Step Up to Social Work, working with Central Beds and Luton, has delivered hands-on experience for postgraduate students in the local communities. Our students also, with university support, find their own paths to deliver change in our communities. Just in the last year, students have worked with the Community Resettlement Project, Keach Hospice Care, Greenhouse Mentoring, Friends of Bright Eyes, and many others. But it's also, I think, important to note that there are further entrepreneurial ways to deliver social justice and equality. And I'd like to mention the Law Clinic project developed by staff and students at the University's School of Law. It is a really practical partnership between students, academics, lawyers, and other local advisors, funded through the University's Student Experience Projects initiative that I set up. It also has two objectives: to enhance the education of students in our law school through direct experience with legal practice, but also, at a time of austerity and cutbacks, to provide a public service for local people who need legal support and guidance but cannot afford to pay for it. I think that epitomises our approach that I talked about earlier, to not be an academic island that is cut off from our communities. And through the clinic, students will work with partners such as Citizens Advice Bureau, seeking to meet unmet needs amongst some of the most vulnerable within our communities. In the law clinic, students have the full conduct of cases on behalf of clients, such as administering, supporting and providing guidance on the legal processes. And that is exercised under the close supervision of qualified lawyers who have practice certificates. That opportunity to work on live cases broadens students' knowledge, providing facilities to undertake a structured reflection on that legal practice, and significantly enhances the development of their employability and transferable skills. It also ensures that the School of Law, the university, is at the heart of a network in the community. So it's a real win-win situation, contributing towards the tackling of social exclusion and deprivation. So, in my view, education, and higher education in particular, is still the most transformative experience available to citizens here and across the globe. We do that for individuals, but also, I think, for a better community and a better society. And that's why I'm delighted to be here at the beginning of events today to contribute and confirm my and the university's commitment to you as partners, but also as citizens across our communities. I wish you all the real best for the rest of today. Let's continue these conversations, which I hope will lead to to practical actions, and let's meet the challenges, the very real challenges that face us as a county and society. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.